Okay guys, so welcome to OT Short, one of our Outfitter Tales short episodes. We're very busy now coming into the red rut, but actually interestingly I've got guys over from New Zealand at the moment, husband and wife team, Christina and Damon. A cool stag to them is a sort of 16 pointer, so you can just imagine the sort of beast that they're used to shooting on their own ground. And over here particularly to have a look round at some new ground, just come to really interesting people actually. There's a lot of visiting sportsmen are more interested in the scenery, the setting, and the banger going off in the background there, understanding how we manage or I manage hunting in Scotland, which is great. And ironically they've never sort of shot or seen roebuck, so that's the plan for the next day or so. First morning out this morning, and all we've seen is red stags, so you couldn't make it up. But anyway, we did see a roebuck driving home, but that doesn't count, so we'll see how we get on tonight. But great people. We've changed this show around actually, following on from the interview with Angelo last week, which was really well received, and thanks for all the great comments. Keep them coming in please, because we sort of feed off those. But a lot of people we've made reference to and showed a few clips from when he was out hunting with me down in Hertfordshire. So we've sort of jiggled things around, and we're going to put that on because that's what you wanted to see. So coming up for you now is the one of the enjoyable sessions I had with Angelo, and I still chuckle to this day about baboons. Anyway, watch the clip, self-explanatory, but trust me, having been out in Africa quite a lot hunting, a barking Muntjac in a Hertfordshire wood does actually sound like a baboon in South Africa. So there you go. Okay, this week really we're down to assist with a fallow and a Muntjac call with a friend of ours just outside of Hitchin, runs a big pheasant shooting estate. And this week we've got down with us Angelo, who's a long-standing client who's become a good friend of mine, fascinating guy, really interesting to talk to, proper hunting in the old days. I mean, Angelo, I don't think he'll mind saying he's sort of 80 years old now. He only comes hunting with me because I kind of know his abilities, but a good man. Spent a lot of time out in the field. Very, very good photographer. And originally started out in the early days in what was then Rhodesia. Proper wild hunting. None of the camps. It was basically load your kit up into a vehicle and disappear off into the bush for weeks, often months at a time. He was photographing it, so he'd got cameras with him, but again, not the small kit we've got these days, big great lights and what have you. So really interesting to get him out, especially so because he's never seen Muntjac before. He'd seen fallow, but he'd never hunted them, so we were hoping to get both species for him.
Like a baboon.
Yeah, it is. They call them the barking deer.
Bloody baboon.
We're wrong wind for that, so we're gonna go and work into this wood down here. So come into the wind. So that's the first time you've heard one, yeah? Have you ever seen a Muntjac?
I've never seen a Muntjac.
Okay. Just there, you see it? It's just on the corner where the dark shadow is. Not like Africa then.
It's like Africa then.
It's a bit colder, man.
Jeez.
Muntjac.
Muntjac.
No. Yeah, quite a big book involving.
We got into Muntjac quite early as the light came up. We left the kind of porter cabin after guys sort of chill and have a bit of a cuppa before going out, and plenty of Mickey taking and leg pulling, so it's great. And we did get into Muntjac, you know, fairly early, but we weren't after trophy Muntjac or decent animals. We were sort of really wanting cull Muntjac. And a bit further on then there was a Muntjac barking in the distance, and I've been to Africa and it did sound like a baboon. So the next conversation Angelo and I had was that, hey man, there's baboons. You don't have baboons in here. I said, Angelo, no. Last I heard that Hitchin didn't have a resident population of baboons, but you never know. But trust me, that noise is a Muntjac. So we continued.
Ran that way. You see that? Yeah, but it's a banking. I think it's gone up the field. It drops away. Yeah.
Having had kind of several encounters and also still quite bizarre experience when you're stalking through the woodland quiet in the morning and you've got planes coming overhead, because we're right on the flight path to Luton Airport, so that was quite interesting. It is for me, being used to Scotland. I kind of got the feeling that morning that it just wasn't going to be our day. We'd had so many chances on Muntjac and for one reason or another had not got to shoot them. But it was nice because Angelo had seen some deer, so he was thoroughly happy with the fact. Genuine sportsman, he was just nice to be out in a new area, experiencing a new deer species. And then we were kind of on last chance saloon really, back to the thing for breakfast, and I'd almost kind of resigned myself to the fact it wasn't going to happen this morning. And then there was a group of fallow, so they were a bit twitchy, but they weren't aware of us.
See ya. Look. There's more than one. I'll tell you what, look, let's try and get one.
I've seen them.
Just wait. There's another one coming across. See you, watch this thing. There we go. There we go. Another one behind it. Just keep on it. Keep on it. Well done. Okay, reload.
You've never seen a fallow?
No,
You never shot a fallow?
I
though?
never shot a fallow.
Oh, well done. Yeah, good.
Thanks, Chris. Now that's amazing.
So today, so that's,
Oh, that's
never
amazing.
seen a muntjac before, so we've seen a muntjac.
I've only shot red and roe. Nothing
Okay.
else. So whatever that is a new one.
It's a fallow. Trust me, it's a fallow.
Is that a fallow? Well, I tell you guys,
There's a clue between the way to tell the difference between a fallow and a muntjac is
this was bigger.
the fallow's big and the muntjac's little.
It's a little thing. Jeez, it's a big thing, man.
It's not a muntjac.
That's not a Muntjac.
Go and have a look at your first fallow. Well done.
Oh my God.
Go and have a look.
Oh, thanks, Chris.
I'll
No,
follow you in. Go on.
no. Bloody hell. Okay.
Big animal, eh?
Right through it.
Yeah, it's a good shot. That perfect shot. Animal went straight down. You want to get you just touching the deer? Good man.
Well, hope you enjoyed that. We don't have a lot of time as we're all sort of rushing around, but what I did want to do is just cover one of the questions, and like I said, keep those coming in because that's great. We can tackle that. Ticks. I'm not convinced there are more ticks about now than there ever was, but I'm just very much aware that people are aware of them and what they should do, which is a good thing. And a lot of people ask me about my regime. Now, we're not in a particularly bad area for ticks here in Ayrshire. Rab, for on the other hand, is down in Argyll at the moment, and that is particularly bad. So I think the west coast of Scotland is bad. I know the New Forest and certain areas are bad for ticks, but the ticks are abound everywhere. And they are high up on the country person's spectrum, if you like, now, which is a good thing. I think there are several things you can do to avoid or getting ticks on you. You will get ticks on you if you're out in the bracken and what have you. Not too bad at this time of year. There's not a lot on the deer here at the moment, but they are still quite bad down in Argyll. I think one of the first things to do is tuck everything in if you can. So basically I have my trousers tucked into the top of my boots. I've got the brandy cuss here and I tuck my trousers into the top of the boot. So when I'm out in the bracken, and I mean basically what a tick does, if you don't know, is it kind of loiters around on vegetation. The host sort of brushes through, drops onto clothing or fur, or the heat source attracts it, and from then on sort of scurries around a little bit till it finds a nice little fleshy bit and buries in and likes to have a bit of drink of your blood. That's where the problem comes. So first thing is cover up, gloves, tuck in as much as you can. Some of the repellent clothing is very good as well, I understand, although I don't wear it. You can if you want. I know a lot of people do actually tape up around the boot legs. I've never found that personally necessary, but it's an option. And if you want to spray with some insect repellent as well around cuffs and boots, that helps. Again, I don't do that, but it's something that you can do. I think the one thing that is crucial, which is where a lot of people make a mistake with tick prevention, is sitting around for a long period after stalking in their clothing. So what I tend to do in my regime is I get back after my morning stalk, which I've done this morning, into the utility room. I immediately change my outer clothing. Get everything off, hang it up, in, shower and away. And I think if you sit around in clothing that you've been wearing when out in the field and stalking, then you expose yourself to ticks getting on you at a much higher percentage. And I think the other thing is what I used to do when I first started is when I got a client in a high seat, I would often sit somewhere a couple of 100 metres away from the high seat on the floor. That's a big no-no because you sat on the floor for 2 hours. I mean, you're just asking for trouble. And I was covered in the things, so I soon stopped doing that. So a little bit of common sense can manage them. And to dispel a lot of myths about ticks, the last thing you want to do with a tick when it's on you is stress it. So if you start burning it with cigarettes like I've seen people do on themselves, believe it or not, and dogs, which is bloody cruel, that's a definite no-no. But applying things like Vaseline, trying to stress the tick, I think the theory behind that was it kind of can't get any air and will drop off. Well, you're just stressing it, so don't do it. pouring whiskey on it, that's a flagrant abuse of whiskey, quite frankly, and it doesn't work. Only two ways really to remove a tick. You've got the little tick pliers things which you use on dogs and people. You can pull them off with that, but honestly just a pair of tweezers, little pair of tweezers, pull it straight out. And all this rubbish about twisting it one way and twist it around the other, that's nonsense as well. Just pull it out, try and make sure you've not left any of it in you, obviously, and then get some antiseptic on that particular bite area. Concentrate on areas, groin, under the arms, sort of fleshy areas. That's where they tend to zone in on anyway. And then a little bit of antiseptic, Savlon or something on it, and just monitor it. And if you get a reaction, any sort of reaction, then you go to the doctor. And what they'll do is they'll give you a course of antibiotics initially. So I don't think people need to get too hooked up about it, but you certainly need to just be mindful of the potential problems, and that's what I do. So a little bit of common sense. Okay, so that's it for this week. Little bit of exciting news coming about sort of some new kit that we're going to get our hands on shortly to test, but I'm going to leave that. I'll probably cover that in next week's episode, so that's just to drop that into the equation, and encourage you to, as always, like us on the social media platforms, and please subscribe to Outfitter Tales, because that helps us get the coverage and helps us, it assists us really in bringing you these shows. Keep the questions coming in, and as always, well, it's just good night from me, good night from him down in Argyle, good night from the dog who's ferreting about there somewhere, and watch this space, and we'll see you next week for a full episode. Thanks for watching.